Alright farmers, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be having a look at soybeans. So first off, if you're playing with the seasonal calendar on, you need to take a look at that. So we've got soybeans there, which is the 7th one down. So you're going to plant in April and May, and then harvest in October and November. Now if you're not playing with the seasonal calendar on, it's going to take 6 months to grow. So that all depends on what options you're playing with. So the next thing you want to do is get yourself a field. So we've got this one here. It's fully prepped. So we've mulched, ploughed, fertilised, limed, fertilised again, cultivated, and then removed all the stones. So that's how I get the fully prepped field. Obviously, there's different ways of going about it, but that's how I found the best way of doing it. So the next thing you want to do is get your seed into the ground. So I'll go get something for that. Right, so we're at the edge of the field, so you're going to want to be able to sow your seeds of soybean. Now there's two options for this. If you go into the shop menu, you can either use a seeder that's got the soybean icon there, which is the fourth from the right, the little bean pod. So any of the seeders are going to be able to do that. And you can also use a planter. They'll do soybeans as well. So entirely up to you which one you use. Obviously depending on your budget, depends on which one you can go for. I'm going to use this John Deere because that's what I've got on hand at the minute. So once you've got your planter or seeder, whichever you're going for, you're going to want to put some seed into it. So if you're using the shop menu, the cheapest option is going to be big bags, and the seeds are 800 for 1,000 litres. Now you can use the multi-fruit buy silo if you want to do that, but if you're at the shop, the big bags are the most cost-effective option. Right, so what you need to do now is unfold it. So if you do LB and A, if you're on Xbox like me, that's going to go through the whole animation. It's going to put the sides out, it's going to unfold everything, ready for you to get cracking. Now you're also going to need to make sure you've got it set on soybeans. So if we do LB and Y, it'll cycle through until we got to the soybean, like so. So once we've got that all set up, what we'll do now is LB and B, lower it down, then LB and X, turn it on, and then just drive through the field. As you can see, there's a texture change, so all you need to do is go over the whole field till it's covered. So I'll do that, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so once you've got the seed in the ground, what you're going to want to do to get the maximum out of your field is you're going to want to run a roller over it. So if we go into the shop menu again, we'll go to rollers, and then anyone in this section you can use to roll your field. So I'm just going to use this Dalbo Power Roll. That's just my preferred choice out of this menu. So what you're first going to want to do, the same as you did with the planter, LB and A, unfold it. So that'll put the sides out, ready for you to go. And then you're going to want to do LB and B, lower the roller. Now you don't need to turn this on, so once it's lowered, you're ready to go. So all you do now is just drive through the field. And you'll see the texture change again. And just like we did with the planter, we'll go over the whole field, making sure it's all covered. So I'll do that, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so that's the field all rolled. Now because I did the full prep before we seeded or planted, sown, whatever you want to call it, the field with the seed in the first place, there's not a lot more I need to do to this field. But there is one thing you may need to take a note of depending on the settings that you've got on the go. If you're playing with weeds on, you're going to need to deal with them when they start emerging through the ground. So in the first growth stage of the weeds, you can use a weeder. If they're a bit bigger, you're going to need to use the herbicide sprayer. I've got weeds turned off because I don't particularly like them. But if you've got them turned on, you're going to need to keep an eye out for them. So that's the other thing that you may need to keep an eye on. So what I'm going to do now is fast forward, and we're going to see a bit of growth. Right, so we're in October. You can see on the growth option down the bottom, we've got ready to harvest. So I'm going to go jump in my harvester. Right, so what you want to do to get your crop off the field is get yourself a harvester and header. So if we go into the shop and over to harvesters, anything that's got that soybean icon, so second from the right on the harvester, you can use to get this crop off the field. So I've gone for this fence because I think it looks brilliant. And then with that, you're going to need to get yourself a header, one of the normal headers. Again, that does have the icon for the soybean on it. Now, depending on what harvester you go for, depends on the size of the header. But it also depends on the price that you can afford, because obviously the bigger the equipment, the more expensive it is. So budget dependent, you go for whichever one you can afford. So I've gone for that fence and this Dynaflex 9255 header. So that's what we've got here. So first thing we need to do is unfold the harvester. So that's L, B and A. That'll put the pipe out the back, and it'll put the grain tank out open, however you want to put it, on the top. So once that's done, you do L, B and X, it will turn it on, it will lower the header, then just drive into your crop. Now unlike wheat, barley and oats, this doesn't give off straw, so it's just going to be the crop. So what I'll do, I'll get that done and I'll see you at the end. Right, so that's the field harvested. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go load this into a trailer. We'll see what we can do with the crop once we've got it off the field. Right, so your first option is going to be to sell it. So if we go into the prices menu, soybeans there, the best price we're going to get is $2,081 per 1,000 litres at Goldcrest Valley. And that's going to require you to rent a train. So I've already done that in a separate video, so go check out that one. But for this video, we're going to take it to Feed and Grain South. It's going to give us 1,845 per 1,000 litres. So we're down here now. So if we go over to that crate with the unload icon on it, we'll just pull over. And it'll give you the prompt like so. Then R, B and Y, unload it, and then we'll sell the crop off. And we'll make the money that way. Now there is another option, and I'll see you back at the farm. Right, so the other option of what you can do with your soybeans is feed them to your pigs. So if you go into the shop menu again, into construction, over to animals and then down to pigs, then either on the pig pasture, the pigsty or the pigsty lodge, you can see that icon there, the soybean icon, logo, whatever you want to call it. So you can feed it to your pigs as part of the mixed ratio to get the best out of them. So what you do, the same icon as down at the sell point, come over to it, you'll then get the prompt R, B and Y, and then you'll load your soybeans into your pigsty. So if we then go into the animal menu, you can see there that the soybean have gone into the protein section. So that's 20% of all the food that you put in for your pigs needs to be protein to get the best out of your pigs. So there you have it. That's your two options with soybeans. There is no production chain that you can take it to as of recording this video. Obviously if any mods come out, that may change in the future, but as of now you can either sell your soybean or you can put it in your pigsty for pig food. So there you have it, that's soybeans. Drop it in the comments below. Are you thinking of doing soybean? Are you going to sell it off, or are you going to put it into the pigsty? Obviously it's entirely up to you. We'll see what comes out. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, it's muchly appreciated. But for me, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.